This lecture is done for the second grade of Medical College Iراقية University. Hello ثاني شلونكم؟ اليوم ناخذ محاضرة بالأنسجة. Stay at home. Today's lectures we will start with the histology of the endocrine glands. One of the most important glands is the pituitary gland, which is the master gland of the endocrine glands. We all know in our body we have endocrine, which are ductless glands, and they secrete their hormones to the bloodstream in order to reach its receptors. Also, we have the exocrine glands اللي هي secretes enzymes, also have several functions. But the endocrine glands, the mediators of it is the hormones. The hormones, we all know that يعني هي هاي شغلة يمكن شغلة كيمياء يقسموها إلى proteins and polypeptides, amino acid derivatives, and steroids and lipid acids يعني fat acids. البروتين وبوليبيبتايد for example عندنا الانسولين والجلوكاجون، والامينو اسيد derivatives مثل الثايروكسين، والستيرويد for example البروجسترون and the testosterone. الشغلة هاي شغلة كيمياء يعني. We all know what functions the endocrine is the neuronal system يعني the nervous system controls the endocrine system. Although each of the systems work by its own, but together they interact in order to control the endocrine system to secrete the hormones. عندنا فشي مهم بالهرمونات اللي هو I have a feedback mechanism which is either positive feedback mechanism or a negative feedback mechanism. نعتمد على هذا feedback mechanisms from the organs to the master glands in order to continue the secretion of the hormones or not. هذا كله هسه لحد الآن اللي قلته هو عبارة عن مقدمة كيمياء على فسلجة فشي كلش بسيط. هسه راح ندخل بال pituitary gland if we want to understand it where it is present. أموت على التشريح. It is present in the hypophyseal fossa. It is the master gland of the endocrine glands. الأبعاد مالتها ترى 1 by 1.5 by half يعني the 1 centimeter its length, 1.5 its width, and half its thickness. It sits in the hypophyseal fossa and it is surrounded by the diaphragm cell, which is a fold of dura mater. It consists of two lobes. I have anterior lobe and the posterior lobe. The anterior lobe, which is also called the adenohypophysis, okay? And the posterior lobe, which is called the neurohypophysis. طبعا بالمناسبة pituitary gland is called hypophysis cerebri. Hypophysis cerebri. فالadenohypophysis and the neurohypophysis. These two also embryologically, each one differs from another. يعني each one has its own embryological derivative. يعني هي طالعة embryologically تختلف من الجزء الآخر. فمن نجي على adenohypophysis, it is an outgrowth of the roof of ectoderm, of the roof of the mouth of the ectoderm, while the neurohypophysis is a downward growth راح يكون of the diencephalon, also ectoderm, لكن each from its own embryological origin, and this will lead to each of it has its own cells and own function. لذلك كل وحدة من عندها خلاياها وعندها الفانكشن مالتها اللي تختلف عن الجلاند الأخرى. أنا مثل ما معودتكم بالأنسجة ما أحب أقرأ سلايدات، نحب نشوف images ونشرح على أساسها، والشرح هذا البقية راح تلقاه within the lecture and within the textbook which you will read. But as an introduction, if we talk about the pituitary gland, as I mentioned, consists of the adenohypophysis and the neurohypophysis. The adenohypophysis by itself, it is formed by pars distalis. راح تصير البارتات ملاته واحد من عندهم اسمه pars distalis, pars tuberalis and pars intermedia. Okay, while the neurohypophysis consists of pars nervosa and the infundibulum وقبلها الميديان eminence. يعني من أسألك على البارتس مال ال adenohypophysis نقول it consists of pars distalis, pars tuberalis and pars intermedia. لكن ال parts of the pars nervosa it consists of the median eminence, infundibulum and the pars nervosa. اوكي هسه راح نيجي عليهن هذني البارتات نحاول نندلها قبل ما ندخل. طبعا when you look at the pituitary gland under low power of magnification power you will find it as this image. تشوفوه دائما pituitary gland هذا بأقل قوة راح يبين بهالشكل هذا. أعطيك غشوشة مال امتحان مثل ما أني معودتكم ننطي غشوشات مال امتحان. باوع على السلايد. من تباوع على السلايد اللي راح تلقاه هيجي full of cell clusters يعني اللي راح يكون مثل السيل كلاستر هذا immediately أقول عليه the anterior pituitary pars distalis part. okay. لكن من تشوف من تباوع على ال part of the pituitary gland which is tiny cells بيها ومثل الفايبرز هواية راح تكون موجودة هذه راح نقول عليها the posterior pituitary lobe أو نسميه pars nervosa. the pars nervosa. The region in between هذا الريجن اللي هو حتى sometimes it contains cysts يعني راح نلقي إنه it contains colloid cysts يسموها the Rathke's pouch. هذا راح يمثل الريجن of pars intermedia. pars intermedia. أوكي حتى نندلها فصار عندك pars distalis و pars nervosa وهذه هي ال pars intermedia. the pars intermedia. This is under low power of magnification. If we slightly increase the power of magnification شوف من تباوع هنا clusters of cells تكون موجودة arranged and هذه هي اللي نقول عليها colloid. هذه تكون simple cuboidal Rathke's cyst اسمها which is a characteristic feature of the pars intermedia و this region is pars nervosa. pars nervosa. طبعا any endocrine gland is highly rich with blood لأنه أول تالي الهرمونات when it is secreted it should be released within the bloodstream in order to reach into targets. يعني واحدة من الفروقات اللي نقدر نقول عليها between the endocrine and the exocrine glands اللي هو the exocrine has a local effect ترى يعني when it is secreted from the ducts it reaches to the region that the duct ends in and it gives its effect locally while if in endocrine it secretes the hormones and it will affect a target tissue which is far away from the endocrine gland. All the hormones in our body is in overdose يعني دائما تكون احنا عندنا كمية كافية من الهرمونات موجودة بجسمنا لكن تكون in an inactive phase يعني it is combined to some of proteins اللي تبقيها خاملة. When it is activated من يجي للتريجر حتى to be activated ينفصل عن هذا البروتين in order to be in an active